Hello and welcome to yet another Saturday where we bring to you संभव टॉक्स। और आज का संभव टॉक्स मैं एक गाने से स्टार्ट करना चाहती हूँ। आपने ये गाना सुना होगा बहुत टाइम पहले। क्या करूँ ओ लेडीज मैं हूँ आदत से मजबूर, क्या करूँ ओ लेडीज मैं हूँ आदत से मजबूर, हुजूर हुजूर मैं हूँ आदत से मजबूर। जी हाँ, आज हम बात करने वाले हैं इन आदतों की। वी आर गोइंग टू बी टॉकिंग अबाउट द हाई परफॉर्मेंस हैबिट्स फॉर एंटरप्रेन्योर्स। और मैं अकेले गाना नहीं गाने वाली हूँ, अकेले बात नहीं करने वाली हूँ। मेरे साथ है बहुत ही अमेजिंग विमेन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स who are joining us from different parts of the country. I am going to welcome all of them, and while I welcome them, I would want to know from you, आप कहाँ से join कर रहे हैं, which part of the country, which part of the world? Put your name, put your place, and आप जरूर लिखिए आप क्या करते हैं। मुझे आपसे दो चीजें चाहिए, आप कहाँ से ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं और आप क्या करते हैं। प्लीज पुट इट इन द चैट सेक्शन as I call all my amazing panelists today. Hi Madhu.
Hi.
Hi Sheetal. So good to have you all. So आपको क्या वाइब कैसा फील हो रहा है? हम आदतों की बात करने वाले हैं। We are going to talk about habits. What is that one word that is coming? मैं ये सवाल हर बार पूछती हूँ अपने पैनलिस्ट से. What is that one word that's coming to you?
Well, the one word or one phrase which is coming to me is आदतें जरूरी है.
आदतें जरूरी है. Absolutely fantastic. What about you, Pooja?
आदत से मजबूर.
आदत से मजबूर
how you
हो.
do one,
Yes.
how you do one thing is how you do everything. So make
Absolutely.
sure you do the best of it.
Lovely, lovely. That's powerful. What about you, Dr. Madhu?
मुझे ये लगता है कि हमें किसी की आदत नहीं होनी चाहिए, हमें अपनी आदत ज्यादा होनी चाहिए.
Aha, that's powerful. अपनी आदत होनी चाहिए और अपनी आदत बनाएंगे आज, वही करने वाले हैं. Definitely. Yes. CA Krishna, we would want to know from you, what is that one word for you?
मेरे हिसाब से जो वन वर्ड है हैबिट्स रिलेटेड, सिंपल डेली हैबिट, दैट्स ऑल. ज्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड नहीं करना है.
ओके, सिंपल डेली हैबिट्स. कॉम्प्लिकेट नहीं करना, बहुत सिंप्लिसिटी में खेलेंगे और बहुत सिंपल वे में बात करेंगे कि हमारे ऑडियंस आज अपनी आदतों पे कैसे काम कर सकते हैं. सो लेट मी वेलकम ऑल द पीपल हु आर जॉइनिंग अस. वी हैव संगीता मिश्रा हु हैज जॉइंड अस फ्रॉम पुणे. रितु भाटिया has joined us from Gurgaon. She runs an interior design firm. Sangeeta is an IT professional. Meena Karmakar has joined us from Delhi. Arvind Kumar Rai has joined us from Malad, West Mumbai, BKG International Lab. Nitika Srivastav has joined us from Greater Noida. She is a mindful productivity coach. So good to have you guys, and I really want to know from you, आपके मन में वो क्या चीज आती है जब आप अपनी हैबिट्स, अपनी आदतों के बारे में सोचते हैं. प्लीज हमें बताएं और हम अपना ये पैनल डिस्कशन अभी स्टार्ट करते हैं. We've got Darshana who has joined us from Budapest, Hungary. So good to have you, Darshana. So let's talk about this topic of high performance habits. और आज हम कुछ अलग करने वाले हैं. We are going to be talking about our lifestyle habits, जो हम रोजमर्रा में डे टू डे करते हैं, और हम अपने बिजनेस हैबिट्स के बारे में बात करने वाले हैं. सो फॉर द फर्स्ट सेगमेंट ऑफ लाइफस्टाइल हैबिट्स, आई हैव माय फर्स्ट टू पैनलिस्ट Sheetal Ray and Pooja Borse. They're going to be talking about that. We have got Bhama who has joined us from Coimbatore. So good to have you, Bhama. So let's start with the first part of the panel discussion, which is lifestyle habits, and that's what we are going to talk about. But before we do that, I would want to know from you, Sheetal and Pooja, आप अपने बारे में थोड़ा सा ऑडियंस को जरूर बताएं, so that people get to know a little bit about you. छोटा सा 1 minute में अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दीजिए जिससे लोगों को आपके बारे में भी पता लगे. So we start with you, Pooja.
Okay. Hello everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from all the parts of people joining here. I am Pooja Borse, a lifestyle and a purpose coach. I am also a spiritual enthusiast and a holistic wellness advocate. So little bit about me is I am an IT professional. At the same time, I am pursuing my own baby project of passion where I want to make people realize that it's the little things, the little habits of how we do everything are going to take you forward in any part of your life. So be it in your business, be it in your profession, or be it in your everyday life, it's how you do one thing is how you do everything. So make sure you're making the best use of the time that you have for living that intention and purpose driven life.
Lovely. I am so happy to know about that. Now, I would want to call the second panelist, Krishna. Krishna, I would want to know from you. आप बताइए थोड़ा अपने बारे में.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone from across the globe. मेरे तरफ से इंडिया से आपको नमस्ते. And I am an author. I'm a chartered accountant by profession.
Yes. So Krishna is a financial expert, chartered accountant, joining us from Hyderabad. थोड़ा सा technical glitch है, but we will definitely have her here. So पूजा, आपसे start करते हैं. बचपन से हम रूटीन्स की बात करते हैं. जब स्कूल जाते हैं तो मम्मी बोलती है एक रूटीन होना चाहिए. जब ऑफिस जाते हैं तो बॉस बोलता है एक रूटीन होना चाहिए. सो मैं आपसे जानना चाहती हूँ कि रूटीन्स का क्या रोल होता है एक पर्सन की लाइफ में और कितना जरूरी है, हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इट इज to have routines, because we have some people joining us from different parts of the world, so we would speak in English so that everybody is able to understand. So we would want to know from you how important are routines and what is the role of routines in a person's life, if you could talk about that.
Yeah, sure, Nirupama. Thank you for this opportunity. So firstly, the part of routines is something that very basic. Like I said, that how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Right.
With the help of routines, you have that clarity that how you're going to take your day forward. You have that purpose, you have that intention, that
Right.
how things are going to work out for you.
Right.
So by having simple set of routines, like you must have observed, be it in your school, your college, or your office, you have a particular schedule that you follow.
Right.
So you have a school timing, you have an office timing, you have some particular timings and systems and structures
Right.
for leading your everyday life.
Right.
So the part of routines is something that keeps us focused and aligned at the same time what we are doing. So if you know where you're going with a plan of routine, you will be able to get the most out of it. So for me, I always recommend or suggest my peers and clients that start by assessing your day, start by making goals, because that is so crucial. If you have that clarity, that have that intention and purpose of what you want to do in that particular day, you'll be able to get the most out of it.
Right.
So I have 4 kinds of routines that I follow in my everyday lifestyle. Firstly is the morning routine. Like, after waking up, what do? Do you simply check your phone or, do something else?
ऐसा मत बोलो मेरे हाथ में फोन है.
So, but then again, now, when you wake up, you are very much alert and having that, subconsciously what you're feeding your mind. So your
Right.
morning routine literally sets the tone for your day. If
Yes.
you wake up and consume your phone and see all the emails and messages people have been, waiting to hear from you, you're already consumed.
Right.
So that's the reason that how you should be starting your day matters a lot and sets the tone for the entire day. Now, being it having a glass of water or just like, giving yourself those 5 minutes can really be helpful and make you present and mindful at the moment.
Lovely. So, Pooja, before you move ahead, I would want to know from the audience, what is it that, comprises your morning routine? Please let us know. And Pooja and other experts can really help you make your routines better. So please drop in the chat, what is it that is there as a part of your morning routine? Because we have a contest here. The people who participate with us till the very end, we are going to pick up 3 lucky winners, and those winners are going to get some amazing, amazing prizes. So let's hear from the people, what are their morning routines? Yes, over to you, Pooja.
Yeah, so I usually start my day by drinking a liter of water, by giving myself those 10 minutes. So I am fully, recharged and just being there and nothing else.
Right.
So after that, I do the morning course and usually go for a run. And if that's not possible, I give myself 30 minutes to read for an
Sure.
inspiration or something. I feed my mind with some good productive thoughts. So I get
Right.
that motivation and inspiration. And
Lovely.
after that, of course, a healthy breakfast to have my energy levels in place.
Sure.
And then I start my day with the usual work that is planned.
Lovely.
So the four routines that I talk about is your morning routine, is the second is your work routine, the third is your energy routine, and fourth is your winding up the evening routine. So if four of these are planned accordingly, you will be able to make the most out of those 24 hours. Because
Absolutely.
after all, we only have 24 hours, and how we are utilizing them to make the most out of it matters.
Absolutely.
So we don't feel the same kind of energy or enthusiasm or motivation throughout the day.
Yes.
So setting those, high priority tasks when you are at your highest willpower and motivation will get most of your work done. And as your energy dips, or you need some recharge on your energies, you can take a break and then get back to that work. And
Lovely.
I have seen people, working and not taking that enough breaks, and
I am
later
one.
and later feeling guilty कि oh my god, ये भी कर लूं, ये भी कर लूं, ये भी कर लूं, 5 मिनट से क्या होगा. But
Right.
trust me, taking those 5 minutes off screen or just change of activity or environment literally boosts your productivity for the next level.
Yes.
So if you feel that, I am stuck here, I'm not able to think clearly. So if you just change your environment, do 5 jumping jacks or have a glass of water, or simply look outside the window if you're working from home, it will really give you a new perspective.
Absolutely. Beautiful. So let's
So
hear the morning routines of some of the people. Sangeeta Mishra says, I do gratitude, I drink warm water and exercise. Ritu Bhatia says, I do yoga first, then while having morning tea, I write in my diary about my previous day. And if I have time, still I read 2 to 3 pages of any motivational book. Currently, I'm reading The Art of Management by Shiv Kumar. Then I get ready for my day. That's brilliant, Ritu.
lovely.
Riju Saini says, I start my day with a fresh and then exercise, which makes me energetic throughout the day. And then I join my office in the second half. Maheen Shore says, which is Jayati. Jayati says, I am basically, starting my day, unfortunately, with a mobile phone. So, Jayanti, right now, after hearing this talk, you shouldn't start the day with a mobile phone. Yes. आपसे और routines के बारे में जानना चाहेंगे. What are the other routines that you were talking about?
So the other is, again, like I said, now you don't feel the same kind of energy throughout the day. So if you focus that, where you're finding the most difficult to get any particular task done, you can schedule it in your highest productivity zone.
Yes.
So if you find out that you are more active during the first few hours of the day, or you are active post the lunch or in the evening, you have to figure that out, what works for you. And then you can put your 100% focus into that particular activity to get it done.
Lovely.
So that is one of the things where you can work on your energy routines. And at the
Right.
same time, it's all comes together in a much more holistic approach, that
Right.
you can't be starting your day with a heavy bowl of biryani or some breakfast that you really want to dig in, and
Right.
expect that, okay, now I have to deliver a talk, and then I'll be in my highest energy.
Right.
So at the same time, you have to take care that what are you feeding your body, and it's not just food, but your thoughts, your emotions, the information,
What you talk to yourself right in the morning.
what you talk to yourself. It's so crucial that how are you talking to yourself, what are you feeding your body, is the outcome going to be. So if you
Lovely.
always keep criticizing yourself that I can't do simple things, ye bhi nahi hota mujhse, yeah, I am such a procrastinator, then that is how the output is going to be. You're
Of
always
course.
going to be delaying it.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
taking that into consideration, what is the input is going to be the output. So always make sure that you're feeding your body with good nutrition, good talks, good information, so that it sets the tone for yourself, and at the same time you're building your worth and your value in the same time, because how you
Wonderful.
see yourself matters the most than how other people see you. if
Absolutely.
if you can't see yourself as a good person or a confident or somebody who's taking that decisions or risks and fine with it, people are not going to see the same, because
Absolutely.
it's going to be reflecting in every other thing that you do.
Totally.
So it all
Totally.
starts with you and your inner journey.
Beautiful. So Rekha says, I start my day with warm water and turmeric after I take bath and do puja. And after puja, I do some exercises. I take a yoga class from 6:30 to 7:30, and after that, I do my course. Monish Khetan says, my morning routine is meditation, journaling, affirmation, visualization, gratitude, healing, setting intention of the day. That's wonderful and powerful,
Wonderful.
Monish. Rekha is from Jaipur. So good to have you, Rekha. Swati S says, I start with intake of water and affirmation. That's a very powerful strategy, Swati. I mean, so good to know about that. Perfect. So now from Pooja, we will be actually wanting to know some of your evening and night routines, but let's call Krishna. We would really want to hear from her. Krishna, we would want to start with your introduction because there was some technical glitch and, we could not hear. So please start with who you are as a person, and then we would really ask you some questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nirupama, so much for having me here. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone from all across the globe. So, here I am, Namaste from India, CA Krishna Wadher. I'm an author, a chartered accountant by profession, and a personal finance coach by passion. And I am on a mission to help 1 million mothers being financially empowered.
Wow.
And take away the fear of investment from within.
Lovely.
That's my mission. Coming to my daily habits, yes, there are lots, but I would wait, give it to you to, if you have any questions to start.
Yes, absolutely. So, Krishna, what happens is we were talking to Pooja about habits, and she really, guided us with the morning routine. But a lot of times what happens, when we are going to office, there is a set routine for us that this is a particular time wherein we are logging in. This is a time where we are logging out. But, when we start our entrepreneurial journey, things become haphazard, unless you have a proper routine to yourself. So I would want to know from you, what role does discipline play? Like when we have to really set the things for us, and how can we develop that discipline in our day-to-day life? Because discipline, aisa lagta hai, oh my God, dande wala word. Is it that scary? I would want to know from you. Yes.
That's a wonderful question, Nirupama, and I think it's a very, very relatable and valid question
Yes.
for entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Like, I assume most of us here are entrepreneurs, or most of them must have shifted from their employment or employee to an employer journey.
Yes.
Correct.
Or they are in that
So,
journey. Some of them are aspiring entrepreneurs. Yes.
Yeah, some of them are aspiring entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So what happens when we are in office? Like you said, we are in office, we know that there's a strict, so we train our brain that way कि मुझे 10 बजे या 9:30 बजे मुझे log in करना है तो करना है.
Right.
No matter what time I sleep at night, but मुझे उस time पे log in करना है.
Right.
And many offices, I think they have even, if you come late by 1 minute or 2 minutes for a consecutive 3 days,
Yeah.
your 1 day salary is cut.
Yeah.
तो वो क्या होता है, जब हमें दिखता है कि मॉनेटरी लॉस कुछ हो रहा है और अपफ्रंट हो रहा है, तो हम उस डिसिप्लिन में आ जाते हैं ऑटोमेटिकली, राइट? बट जब हम एंटरप्रेन्योर बनते हैं, तो
there are some people who logged in from outside the country, so if you could use English, that would be good for everyone.
English.
Yes.
Okay, sure. So then when we enter into entrepreneurship, what happens? We think we are the boss. We don't have anybody to report. We are not answerable to anybody. And I am the boss and I am the leader, right?
Right.
But it takes lot of strategies, lot of skills, and lot of qualities to become a leader. You just don't become a leader by just starting a business.
Right.
Okay, you become a leader by evolving in the process. So definitely self-discipline is a crucial part for success. And when we were children, when we were younger, we had a discipline for schools. Why do you think that schools also had discipline? We
Right.
have to reach in on time, right?
Right.
So 5 minutes, if 5 minutes is delayed, what will happen? But the discipline was inculcated within us from our childhood.
Right.
But what happens as and when we grow up, as and when we come out of maybe college life and college life and get into the entrepreneur journey, we feel like a free bird. Now let me take some breather. I was in such a disciplined manner. I was working the whole of my life.
Right.
Let me take the breather. Let me take the flexibility.
Right.
Right. But we have to remember that without discipline, you can take a break, okay, for some time. But on a longer run, you have to be in a discipline if you want really success in your future.
Right.
If you follow the discipline, if you have a self-discipline, your team members and people who admire you, they will start following you, and then you will see a great success in your business.
Absolutely.
Every business requires discipline, and the discipline comes from from the
Okay. So we'll want to call Pooja again because there is some technical glitch at Krishna's end. So Pooja, if you could complete that part which you were talking about, and you were talking about some evening routines and some of the routines, if you could complete that part while Krishna fixes her technical part. Yes.
Sure. So the evening routines I would like to emphasize is just simply winding up and reflecting on your day.
Yes.
Now, all the work that you have put up through those productive hours, it's time to, reflect. Be
Right.
aware that what you did and what you could do better.
Right.
So it starts with, journaling, that you could ask yourself this question, that what I did better today, or what
Right.
I could do better tomorrow, how I
Right.
can rephrase this or get this better.
Sure.
So it's about reflecting and then journaling if something did not go in your favor.
Yeah.
Because, carrying that grudge or guilt is something that you don't want to live with for the upcoming
Absolutely.
days. So
Absolutely.
letting it out is something very crucial. And
Mhm.
why you felt that why it did not go in your way is another way to reflect and assess that, if you could have handled it in this way, you could have probably got the desired outcome.
Yes.
So
Yes.
having that, after that, probably, you can again read something inspirational so that you set that sleep zone into a very peaceful and content manner.
Lovely.
Because again, starting your next day on a much higher productive note, you need to wind up the day with the same inspiration like you started it.
Lovely. And what you read at night, sometimes they say it goes in your subconscious mind. And, your mind is doing all the activity. So that when you get up the next day, all of that you've put in your mind, आप हॉरर मूवी देख के सोएंगे तो हॉरर मूवी के सपने आएंगे, आप कुछ
Absolutely.
इंस्पिरेशनल देख के सोएंगे तो इंस्पिरेशनल ही कुछ आउटपुट होगा अगले दिन के लिए. So that was very powerful, Pooja. Now let me call my second panel, and we're going to ask some more questions from them. So let me call Dr. Madhu and Sheetal. Dr. Madhu and Sheetal, so good to have you. How are you doing?
All well, thank you.
Awesome. So, Dr. Madhu, we would want to know a little bit about you. We would want to know a little bit about your journey, briefly, so that, we could, the audience could know, who Dr. Madhu is and what's been her journey. Yes.
Yeah. So, namaskar to everyone from India and all my friends and the panelists here on board. It's a pleasure, Nirupama, to be part of this and be able to share some of my thoughts. I am a hospitality professional, but started my journey wanting to become a doctor. So I think change is inevitable. That comes to everyone. So at one point in my life, I just actually urged a little bit on my creative side and went into design. So I am now I've completed about 4 decades in hospitality. About 10 years back, I also sort of introspected and found that whatever I've learned and my learnings and even my experiences, I need to share with the next generation. So
Sure.
I actually delved also into academics. So I am also visiting faculty at the Oberoi Center of Learning and Development and Indian
Wow.
School of Hospitality. So where we come and you actually share and I think what I also discovered, and Nirupama, are the right way, that a lot of these young students who are getting into from the hospitality, they would like to start their own business. They would
Right.
like to become an entrepreneur also. So,
Right.
so keeping that in mind, I feel that a discussion and having their thoughts and our thoughts combined to guide them through this journey, this is something that is very, very important in today's time.
Absolutely. And that alignment which you spoke about, Dr. Madhu, having their thoughts and our thoughts together is so powerful, because that really sets the right tone for success. So I will just read one of the comments that has come from Sangeeta Mishra. Sangeeta Mishra says that, for me, discipline is about creating a winning mindset by setting the best routines to win your any goal. And this is what we want to begin with. Thank you, Sangeeta, for this statement. They say that in order to get successful, it is 80% mindset and 20% skills. So we would want to know from you, Dr. Madhu, that what are some of the business mindset success habits, that you could talk about, that every person, who is either on their entrepreneur journey or who's aspiring to be an entrepreneur should have, in order to be successful?
Yeah. So I would start with someone who is, say, in a 9 to 6 scenario and in a job. Now,
Right.
if he or she want to just become an entrepreneur and start their own journey, that should start in their workplace itself. And I
Okay.
feel that your mindset needs to be that you own the business, irrespective of whether you are in a position of a general manager or maybe an executive or senior management. But till you have this mindset of owning that business, you will not be able to contribute, and you will also not be able to succeed in what you are doing.
Right.
That's a mindset which is very, very important. What is also important is, before you plunge into your own journey, you should plan well. It's important for you to check the need, do a market analysis, do a sort of feasibility study, and then analyze all those aspects before you even plunge in it. So it
Right.
always says, and we were discussing the other day when we were just deliberating, Nirupama, that, secure yourself before you actually help others. So
Absolutely.
your entrepreneurial journey is not something which is just for yourself. You are trying
Right.
to help others in the community, and you're trying to make a difference to and add your value to a particular need which is there, which you've established. So some of
Right.
the points which is very important part of this, which come to my mind, and I think which we follow very hard on the hospitality space as well in so many years, is, do a sort of feasibility study, do a need analysis, look at successes and failures of someone who's in competition and at the same benchmark with you. Talk to
Sure.
people, be very open, be open to ideas. Sometimes your idea might not be the right frame, and you might need to change and look at and tweak it to be successful.
Sure.
Success will come, but the process needs to be, and we have to be very, very patient as a
Sure.
mindset. If you are not patient, and if you suddenly drop down or fail, so you have to really take failure as a learning, so that you don't. So we always say, there's a saying also, na, if you make a mistake, it's okay, but you make the same mistake again,
Again, it's
it's
not
not.
okay then.
So,
Yes.
so that's how you learn, and you learn from your own mistakes, and you also learn from mistakes that others have made, and that will come when you talk to them. So we have to
Sure.
be also very open. We also need to be ready to take a risk sometimes, and know your risk taking appetite. That's also very important. Take risk, but you should know that risk taking appetite. You also need to be very, very sure of the target market where
Okay.
you are wanting to have your business, whether it will work there or not. What are the points that you have to keep in mind? Training and upskilling your own self. Despite having 10, 20, 30 years of experience, when I joined a corporate at a very senior role,
Right.
and in 6 months, I could establish that if I went back to my corporate world, I would have done things so differently. So it's
Right.
like a never-ending relationship, never-ending learning. Then
Right.
another mindset is that you have to build relationships. It's very important to build relationships, because it is much above the other, and we will talk a little bit more further on that part as well. Um,
Beautiful.
Another mindset, what I would say is that you should be self motivated. It's very
Mm-hmm.
important to be self motivated. So if there is something that comes to you, like every morning when I wake up, I have something in my mind which is new. So every
Right.
day you have something new, but there is something that you can do, and there are
Right.
some things that you need to wait. So I
Right.
always say there are three words: important, urgent, can't wait. So you have to
Okay.
actually decipher between these three words. All
Yes.
three all three are actually, for some it may be at par, but then if you have three, four things, you need to make sure and decipher for yourself, and that you will do if you indulge yourself in all this very deep inside, because you have to drive your business. You have
Lovely.
to be and lead by example, and then upskilling, getting to know, embracing technology. For me, at the age of 40, I actually had my first computer, so you can imagine.
Yeah.
So and when I joined, and I would just like to actually name one of my colleagues at Hilton when I was working there. His name is Senthil, and I used to
Uh-huh.
say, Senthil, I had 35 people in my previous reporting to me, and I got my work done, like I was just on that, and here like one man army. So, and please teach me. So he was just sitting in front of me, and I was at the back. So every day he says, "Ma'am, I will tell you, but you have to do it yourself." And today I
Of course.
thank, because there's so much that you can do yourself till
Right.
you try. So there's nothing. Embracing technology, I think we cannot ignore at all. But it's,
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm still a very paper and pen person, but still I think embracing technology is important. But we should use it as an enabler. We should
Absolutely.
not become dependent on that. That's again another thing. The relationships, the brick and mortar, the human touch is something that we also in our industry say that we cannot totally neglect, and it has to form a very, very important aspect.
Absolutely.
That's
So people, all of those things that Dr. Madhu is giving to us, let's say in the last 5 minutes, that's an experience of 4 decades, that she's talking from. And I would want to know from you that which of these things that Dr. Madhu just mentioned, whether it is market research, whether it is building on relationships, embracing technology, are you going to take on? Because these are some of the things that is coming from an expert, and she is really going ahead and talking with those industry leaders and getting that sort of a wisdom for all of you out here. So if you have any question that you would want to ask, so please put it in the chat section, because the people who participate engage with us and really make sure that you are active. You will be winning some special prizes towards the very end. And now I call a very special panelist, Sheetal. Sheetal, we are so happy to have you. Sheetal,
Thank
if you could talk about yourself, we've been keeping you waiting for a long time. We would want to know from you your journey and the words of wisdom from you. Yes.
Yes, yes. No, no, waiting is not at all a problem. And thank you so much, first of all, for having me on your show. And I'm really enjoying the entire conversation. And a wonderful audience we have got here. They all are really giving us such amazing replies. So, hello everyone. I'm Sheetal Ray, and I'm founder and CEO of Arsh Communication. This is an integrated marketing agency where we help various brands to have their branding strategy on place, have their digital marketing and public relation on place. I am in communication business since last good 16 17 years, and I have been a journalist also in past. So throughout all my communication journey, the one most important thing I have learned is when how much one can learn by connecting with so many people, it is really wonderful today. That's what I'm This is another chapter where I'm meeting all of you all, and I'm getting to learn so many beautiful things. So yeah, this is all about me.
Wonderful. So, Sheetal, we are talking about the high performance habits for entrepreneurs and or for aspiring entrepreneurs. So, my first question to you here is that we talk about certain business habits that every business owner should have. Because ultimately it's the habits of a business owner that create the business. They say that the reflection of the CEO is directly seen in the business. So I would want to know from you, that, what are some of the business habits that you have inculcated and that you would want our audience to take on?
Right, definitely. So, for me, when you are building your business, it's actually like raising a child, or like absolutely like raising a child, frankly speaking. Because when you have a child, you try to inculcate certain habits in him or her, and you also change yourself. I'm sure all will agree in here that motherhood change you a lot. So when you are building a company, you have to get into multiple habits. If I can just mention certain habits, it's very necessary to set a goal from the beginning. Like when you are raising a child, your goal is completely clear that I want to inculcate certain habits in him or her. You have to, and then there are steps for it. You don't jump onto it. That's why when you set your goal, the goals always have certain milestones that, okay, first I would want to do this, then I would want to go ahead with that entire chart has to be properly ready in your mind when you are starting your business. The goal has to be very completely clear in here. The other most important thing is, which you guys were discussing, which definitely goes in here, you have to be very disciplined. And when I'm saying discipline, be very punctual, be very sure that you are your own boss here, but then be answerable to yourself. When you are taking any decision, when you are even reaching office every day, when you are even leaving office, when you are reaching to the meeting, client meeting, and all these things, you are setting example for your team in here. So yeah,
Sure.
that discipline is very important when you are building a business. And then you have to be very persistent. The third most important thing is, never give up on any kind of setbacks which you're having. A lot of time it happens that when you start working on certain business idea, many people will come and tell you this is not something which will work, this is not definitely which is going to take you anywhere. Where I think, as Dr. Madhu said, you first, before you even start with it, you have done your enough research, you have done your enough market analysis. Then if that's there on place, don't lose on any kind of, like, if there is any setback, don't leave your hopes in there, keep giving it up. Don't, like, just give your 100%, more than 100%, and be persistent. Keep giving your best shot. And there are multiple processes which you can follow in here, actually.
Lovely, lovely. I love the clarity, you spoke about that. Have your goal absolutely clear. Because if your goal is not clear, what happens is you're going in any direction. And as Dr. Madhu mentioned, that be clear about your target audience. Not everybody is your audience. So somewhere or the other, that having the end in mind and being clear right from the beginning is what I'm getting from this panel. So it's powerful. I'm going to call the first panel again, and we're going to ask some questions there, and I want both of you to wait backstage. We'll call you again. There are some questions that are coming in the chat. So Dr. Madhu and Sheetal, if you could answer some of them as we talk to the first panel. Okay, so here we are with you, Pooja, again. Pooja, we spoke to you about routines, and it was such a fantastic, explanation about the different aspects of routines. So now I would want to know from you, can entrepreneurial mindset, be developed through habits? Because Dr. Madhu spoke about some business mindset habits. But from you, we would want to know from you that what are some of the mindset habits, that people can develop as a part of their lifestyle and can ensure, that they can be more productive, they could be more high performing in their day-to-day activities. If you could talk about that. Yes. Pooja, we cannot hear you. I think you're muted. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So the I would start is by having that mindset of positive attitude. Because there are going to be phases in your journey of being an aspiring entrepreneur, or you have your set business. It is like things are not going to work out every time in your favor, or some
Right.
days they would, some days they won't. But having that positive mindset that, okay, if this has not worked out, how do I deal with this?
Right.
Are you, getting wiser with that failure and learning from it, or just wounded and giving up?
Right.
So having that positive attitude, that go-getter attitude, that, whatever comes in, I am ready to face it. I usually see it as two things, that if things are working out in my favor, it's a blessing that, go
Right.
ahead with it. And
Right.
secondly, if there's a failure or we are not able to get that desire out, it's a lesson. Learn from it and move
Right.
on. So that is where
Right.
that mindset and attitude of, having the best one
Okay.
clarity of comes into picture.
Okay. Okay.
uh, the
Lovely.
next the next one is you have to be, like already Dr. Madhu said, that you have to be highly self motivated.
Mm-hmm.
It is nobody's coming to save you or giving you that kind of chart or set of rules. You are the one
Right.
who's building the rules.
Right.
So you know what you have to put in, what effort you have to put in,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to stay on track with that focus and clarity,
Sure.
with the motivation that you bring in, that why you started this in the first place.
Lovely.
So that focus and that motivation comes with that why, that what
Right.
is driving you towards, getting it done or getting those desired results.
Mm-hmm.
So be clear on that. And when you have that set goal in front of you, you will
Mm-hmm.
automatically, get aligned with it, because that is what is driving you towards it. The
Right.
passion, the vigor, the energy, everything, because you know why you started it.
तो बहुत बेसिक दिखता है पूजा, लेकिन फाइंडिंग योर व्हाई इज द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट एवरी एंटरप्रेन्योर नीड्स टू स्टार्ट. और अगर आपने नहीं किया है, आप बहुत सारे टाइम से एंटरप्रेन्योरल जर्नी में हैं और आप सोच रहे हैं कि मैंने बिजनेस क्यों स्टार्ट किया, तो नाउ इज द टाइम. प्लीज, आप अगर एक चीज लेके जा सकते हैं हमारे फर्स्ट पैनल से, तो दैट इज गोइंग टू बी, प्लीज फाइंड योर व्हाई. आपने बिजनेस क्यों स्टार्ट किया, बिकॉज अगेन एंड अगेन यू वांट टू कम बैक टू इट. Yes.
Absolutely. It's like that basic intention, that,
Mm-hmm.
why you started it. What is the intention? What was the purpose?
Right.
That you wanted your flexibility, you wanted your freedom, you
Right.
wanted to be your own boss,
Right.
you wanted to spend more time with your family. So what
Right.
what is that reason, that why you started it?
Right. Lovely.
Everybody would be having that different reason, but you have to be
Mm-hmm.
clear with that intention. Or you want to be
Right.
more happy, you want to just, have a very profound lifestyle where you are able to take your decisions on your own and you don't have to report to anyone.
Sure. Sure. Lovely.
So
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
so that is the intention of starting and setting the goal.
Yes.
And then thirdly is most important, that we actually, take it for granted, is to celebrate those small wins.
Right.
Because we are so much caught up in that hustle of just getting all of it done and, being successful, like that's the only destination we want to reach to.
Lovely. Lovely.
But we forget to enjoy the process,
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy those steps that are taking us towards that goal.
Wonderful.
So that small wins, that, I was able to reach out to a network today, I cracked a little deal, I got my first client, or I just set up a small business where I was able to add value to someone.
Absolutely.
Even that is something that is going to keep you motivated and keep you going.
Beautiful, beautiful. And a lot of times we are looking for bigger things, kuch bahut badi deal hogi, that's when we are going to celebrate. Even if, you and your team has been able to complete a small project, let's say you've been able to reach out to people. So the more we congratulate our team, hey, well done, this is wonderful, let's have a pastry, let's all get together. Or maybe if it's a virtual team, let's have a pizza party, let's have some good fun. That actually creates
Absolutely.
a wonderful zone, and everybody wants to come back and perform, in such a scenario. So I am totally loving it, the three things that you mentioned. If you could summarize once again for the audience, all those three things together. Yes.
So the first is to always have that positive go-getter attitude.
Yes.
And second, majorly the most important is have your intention clear, have your
Yes.
why clear, that why you started it.
Yes.
And lastly is to celebrate and enjoy the process,
Lovely.
because the destination is, always going to be there. Now, once you have reached that particular destination, you might want to hop on to another one.
Yes.
But where is that you're grateful for all that you have came through all this way? Where is
Wonderful.
that acknowledged?
Lovely.
So celebrate that, and you will be achieving more and more as you walk towards this path for finding the ultimate purpose for your life.
Wonderful, wonderful. And for the people who are listening, I would want to know from you which of these three things, you are planning to inculcate as a part of your lifestyle habits. Please put it in the chat section, because if you declare, you're going to follow through. So please let us know in the chat section as we call the other panelist, CA Krishna. CA Krishna, we are so happy to see you again. And since your domain is finance, and you've been talking about discipline in the first part of the talk, we would want to know from you that could you talk about some of the ways to have financial discipline? Because the moment we have discipline with regard to finances, rest of the things in business is sorted. So some techniques from you with regard to financial discipline.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nirupama. And I'm so sorry there was some technical glitch, and because of that, I was having some issues. But yes, now I'm back again. So, see, as you told, and as Pooja shared, finding the purpose is very important. Having the small, simpler wins and celebrating them are very important. Similarly, having financial discipline is equally important for all the entrepreneurs,
Right.
because what happens is we start our entrepreneurship journey with a lot of excitement and a lot of nowadays it has become a startup world, so
Yeah.
everyone wants to become a founder and CEO of a startup, and they start very fast. But
Right.
what we miss is what majorly the missing part is, we do not plan for the future financials, and we do not have a financial discipline in place,
Right.
right? So before going into the financial discipline, I would like to just share about major three lifestyle discipline which also adds on to the financial discipline,
Sure. Yes, please.
which can be like, first financial discipline is, as an entrepreneur you need to establish a routine for yourself, right?
Okay.
Having a structured routine would help you to specify your working hours, allocate time for your important tasks, and stick to the schedule as much as possible, and this will give you more productivity.
Right.
First, why? Because it will train your mind in a consistent manner for that particular period,
Yes.
right? When we go to
Right.
school or when we go to office, we have a particular fixed period, 9:30 to 6:30 or 5:30 is we have to be in office, so our brain
Yes.
is trained that way, right?
इवन पूजा सेड दैट बीच में थोड़ा सा ब्रेक भी लेना है, हम लोग ब्रेक नहीं
हाँ
लेते, तो
जी,
एक रिसर्च भी होती थी स्कूल में,
हाँ,
बोरिंग.
रिसेस भी होती थी, एंड एंड एवरी पीरियड के बीच में ना, पीरियड जब स्टार्ट करती थी स्कूल में, there used to be some chit chat time also, discuss among yourself, so that was a your brain is getting rewired. So I'll
Right.
talk about that also, right? Second point is practice time management. जैसे
Right.
पूजा ने बोला कि ब्रेक्स लेना चाहिए, तो वो जो ब्रेक्स है उसको डिफाइन करिए. So there is a technique called Pomodoro technique.
Japanese technique. Yes.
Yes, I request each and every participant in our audience to do a Google, because I do not have the complete time to explain the technique. But yes, I'll just give a sneak peek of it. In that technique, what it says is work focusly for at least 25 minutes without any distraction. When we say without any distraction, आज अगर हम ये टॉक शो कर रहे हैं तो कुछ भी आ जाए, बेल बज जाए, घंटी बज जाए, या फोन का रिंग बज जाए, या व्हाट्सएप मैसेज आ जाए, किसी का ईमेल आ जाए, नो, 25 minutes I will be focused on this talk show, and after 25 minutes take a break of 5 minutes, just walk around, stretch, and एक glass पानी पी के आइए, या you go for a coffee. Now 5 minutes break does not mean that you consume more content on WhatsApp reels and YouTube shorts. 5-minute break is a break for your mind, and again you go back to your focused mindset of 25 minutes. So that is called Pomodoro technique, which will help you to gain maximum productivity in your productive hours. So now
Right.
you have to decide your productive hours in the whole day.
Right.
For some people, my mornings are very energetic. For some people, afternoons are very energetic. Some people, evenings are very energetic. So it doesn't has to be same for every individual. It will be different. So choose your productive hour and use this practice management, time management technique for at least 21 days. You do this, and you will see a change in your productivity going 10x.
Wow, that's powerful.
Thank you. And third is, as an entrepreneur, like we used to do in our employment, set clear goals. Like we are told,
Right.
right? Every quarter you should have a clear goal. Where are you going to reach? When is your
Right.
promotion? What are the new assignments you're going to take up? What are the new challenges or new projects? So having clear goals broken down into smaller and longer term goals
Okay.
means 12 months goal, then quarterly goals, then monthly goals, then weekly goals, and then daily goals. That is
Wow.
how you achieve it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we will always be focusing on the 12 months goal and we'll think we still have 6 more months of the year. What if
Right.
I didn't do it in the first 5 months? It's okay. Until you break it down, you'll not achieve it. So, three
Lovely.
lifestyle habits. Thank you.
अब फाइनेंस की बात करते हैं.
चलिए अब फाइनेंस पे आते हैं. फाइनेंस का every business requires a success and sustainability. They requires financial discipline, as I shared, right? So financial discipline के लिए first जो आपको बहुत ही minimum, बहुत ही simple तरीके से आपको maintain करना है, which is budgeting and forecasting.
Okay.
आज की डेट में अगर if you are starting a business, what we do is we take into account the capital expenditures. Like
Sure.
to start a business, whatever expenditure are required, we know that. But we do not, focus on the monthly operational expenditures, right? So we have to budget that first. Now you may say that I'm just starting. I don't know what will be my monthly variable expenditures.
Yes.
In that case, what you need to do it first 3 months. Just jot down whatever expenditures you did. Okay. After that 3 months, do an average out.
Okay.
And that will give you a monthly expenditure budget. So you at least know that for my business to run, excluding the fixed expenditure, what are my variable operational costs associated to my business.
जैसे इंटरनेट पे आप करते हो, आप ऑनलाइन बिजनेस कर रहे हो, इंटरनेट का कॉस्ट है, रेंट, आप जिस ऑफिस में काम कर रहे हो आप उसका रेंट पे कर रहे हो, तो ये कुछ फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है. बट इसके अलावा आप बता रहे थे. यस,
करेक्ट. जो फिक्स होते हैं उसमें कोई चेंजेस नहीं होते मोस्टली, तो वो आपको पता रहता है. लेकिन मोस्टली क्या होता है, हम हमेशा शॉर्टफॉल हो जाते हैं. बाय द एंड ऑफ द मंथ वी ऑलवेज फील वी आर शॉर्ट ऑफ फंड्स. एंड व्हाई दैट हैपेंस? बिकॉज फिक्स तो हमें पता है, बट वेरिएबल इज समथिंग वी आर नॉट श्योर. And during the initial years of the business, we don't know how much expenditure is coming my way. So when you do a average out of the last 3 months, it at least give you a 90% idea that monthly expenditure is this much, right? Based on that becomes your budgeting. Based on that, you now forecast for the whole year.
Sure.
Let's say 50,000 आया आपका average out करने के बाद में, you got amount of 50,000. Now forecast that for the next 9 months, minimum 50,000 is something which I will have to bear with. It may go up also if I want to add on some people in my team, if I want to do some advertisement marketing, if I want to do some events, so that will be again added on. But minimum 50,000 is something which I will have to pay.
Yes.
So first point is budgeting and then forecasting for at least the first year. See,
lovely.
The more the better. You do it for 5 years in a projection, it is very good, and then you review it. But to start off, definitely do it for at least 12 months. Okay, and what will happen is this forecasting will help you to anticipate your potential financial challenges, if any, and how are you going to add on to your revenues. अगर आपको पता है कि 50,000 तो खर्चा होने ही वाला है, then you will start your brain working towards more avenues for revenues, right? Lovely. You will start adding on more services that itne mein nahi hoga, I need to do more. Then you will start working towards it. Second point is having a expense control. Now when you have understood your monthly expenditure is coming between 50 to 60,000, there is where you need to have an expense control. Because what happens as an entrepreneur, and especially in the initial years, we would like to give our best to the business. We would like all our money to put into the business, right? wherever we get money, we will think, let me first expand, let my business look beautiful, let my website look beautiful, let my videos come out very well, let me pay for this. It has to come out completely 100% nice.
Yes.
So in that phase, what happens? We keep on adding and adding and adding to the expense. And that is where we do not keep a track and we lose control over the expenditure. So
Sure.
it is very important that you need to negotiate your expense, that this much is my bandwidth, इसके ऊपर मैं नहीं जाऊंगा, इसके अंदर whatever I want to do I will do, so that मेरा business sustain होगा, right? And
Right.
adding on that, you can have some negotiation with your suppliers, vendors, and periodical review for the for the cost which they are giving you for various services, and then you can have an expense control mechanism in place. And it's like a very simple tool to be initially started. You can just maintain on Excel and keep formula to see how much expenditure extra you are incurring every month, but keeping a track will help you to determine your future expenditures.
Lovely. That's so basic. Anyone can do that.
Anybody can do it, anybody. And now you can do it like Dr. Madhu said, I'm a pen and paper person. You can do on a notebook and a paper, nothing to do. You just have to write down on a pen and paper. You don't have to buy some fancy tools, apps, and all those things. Okay.
Lovely.
Third is having a cash flow management system. Now we understood how to maintain the expense. Now maintaining your cash flow is also very important. So understanding, having the above two steps will give you a clarity that how much work, how much cash flow should be at least there in your monthly wallet every month. And then you will implement some strategies to improve the cash flow if the expenditures are not met. And you can go with, for some giving some tips for that, you can go with some customers, like sometimes our customers don't pay us enough within time, right? So what we can say is, we can say that if you pay within the first week or first 2 days of the product delivered or the service delivered, you get an upfront discount of this sum. Now
Wonderful.
you may
And
say
the payments will come on time.
payment will come on time, and see, some people might say that discount देने से हमको ही loss है, but you have to calculate your expenditures also. You have to calculate the interest which you incur if you have taken any loan from your banks, right?
Lovely.
So money flowing in and paying off the debt is much easier than waiting for the whole month for the payment.
Beautiful.
Right? So these are the 3 tips which I would like to add for maintaining your financial discipline. And financial discipline really requires commitment and attention. What happens is, we do it in the initial and then we forget it for after 6 months when everything is in place. If you can't have someone to review it, track it every month. Every month tracking is very important to have a sustainable and growing business.
Lovely, lovely, wonderful. This is powerful. अगर आप सारी चीजों को एक कुछ headlines में summarize कर दे so that the audience can take notes.
In a headline, I would say financial discipline is the vital role for success and sustainability of any business.
नहीं, जो आपने points बोले थे जैसे budgeting and forecasting, वो वाले
points. Ensure financial stability. ठीक है, उसके लिए आपको अपने शॉर्ट टर्म और लॉन्ग टर्म को गोल्स को आइडेंटिफाई करना है, फिक्स्ड और वेरिएबल का आइडेंटिफिकेशन करना है. ओके. सेकेंड इज एक्सपेंस कंट्रोल. जो भी आपके एक्सपेंस आपने फोकस किए हैं फॉर टिप नंबर 1 में, उसको आपको कंट्रोल करना है. आपको देखना है कि वेदर नेक्स्ट मंथ के एक्सपेंडिचर आर फॉलिंग विद इन 50,000 और गोइंग बियॉन्ड. इफ गोइंग बियॉन्ड, व्हाट इज द रीजन? आइडेंटिफाइंग द वेरिएंस एंड वर्किंग टुवर्ड्स द वेरिएंस. Third is cash flow management. Trying to get your payments as early as possible from your clients by giving them different trade discounts, cash discounts on the products and services.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you. That was so powerful. So I would want to know from the audience, people, which of these techniques, CA Krishna has actually given you those techniques that you can directly apply into your business. So which of these techniques are you planning to apply immediately? Please let us know in the chat section as we call the next panel.
Yeah, before we move on, I would like to add one basic, foundation here, that for all the aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, is that you have to keep a note that your personal expenditure and your business expenditure is separate.
This is powerful.
This is something that, when we start with, we are not able to bifurcate that, and that is where the cash flow and the expenditure just hits the wallet, and we are like, okay, I don't have this in control. So if
Yes.
you have that clarity that, this is separate, and then you track it accordingly by how CA Krishna has beautifully explained it in 3 points, it becomes much easier to keep your business running in profit for yourself.
Lovely.
So that's one thing that I would just like to add.
That was very powerful, and thank you for bringing it, Pooja. It is so powerful. So we have some more people, typing in. Asha Bharti says, please repeat what is the second point. Second point is expense control. First point was budgeting and forecasting. Second point was expense control. Third point was cash flow management. I hope you all have written. और अगर आपका कुछ point miss हो गया, because when Pooja was speaking, when Dr. Madhu was speaking, that she was telling a lot of points, I would want all of you to watch the recording of this session, because what they are giving is a master class, right now. And they might have just said it like in a go, but all of these concepts, if you start applying it, your business will become 10x, so please make sure that you're applying all of these concepts. Now let me call Sheetal again. Sheetal, I would want to know from you that when we talk about business habits, we spoke in the first segment about, the business habits for, let's say, a business owner. Now let's talk about the business habits for a business. Like, what are some of the habits that can actually create a very happy culture, happy customers, happy workplaces? So if you can talk about that. And then we'll be taking some questions from the audience. Yes.
Right, definitely. Just to continue the momentum of entire financial thing, what we were talking, as an entrepreneur, one thing is definitely very important to keep your business up and running and not to have any hiccup is pay all the taxes perfectly on time. You are a GST holder. You should always be very particular about all these things, because it has happened with few of the entrepreneurs that I know, that in the initial years when you you shift from your as an employee to employer, you kind of miss on those things, because when you become employee, you kind of don't understand there are so many things that being taken care of in the background. And one major thing is this happens with a lot of entrepreneurs. So this is I have this platform, so I just want to definitely tell everyone who is starting their business that be very careful about your taxes, about your be in always in touch with your accounts department, with your CA, because these things really matters. These things really affect on you as an entrepreneur and on your business as well.
Sure.
Now, coming to your question about how to build a good culture. So, always remember, if you were an employee or maybe you were never an employee, always remember, please value your team, because finally, whatever you are building, anybody in this country, including the big industrialists or like Tatas or Ambanis or anyone, and we have been learning so much from very big business women, businessmen in here. They all have built it only with the help of their good teams. They have the loyal team with them, and they have built this loyalty not just by telling their employees that you have committed the mistake or firing them. No, they have been very caring towards their employees. They have been definitely giving a lot of appreciation, making them feel valued, telling them that I am nobody without you. There is no harm in telling an employee that you are a very integral part of the business which I am trying to build. I have observed this. This is a problem with a lot of people who enter in the entrepreneurial journey, and that they feel that if I will start, appreciating way too much, then maybe these employee will feel that they are better than me, because maybe they have certain more experience than me. Because there are two kind of entrepreneurs which you will find, right? One will be way too senior, or one will be way too young. A way too
Yes.
senior person will feel that if my employee is way too young, or he or she hardly has an experience. That's not true. Young people comes with a lot of energy, and because my team is mixed of both, so
Yes.
when I'm surrounded by young people, they are with so much fresh ideas, and I really love to
And even they're technology savvy more than anybody else.
yeah. And at the same time, when you have seniors in your team, they come with so many experience which helps you to they're like that backup for you when you're falling. They're always there to tell you that what can go wrong.
Yes.
It is very necessary to have this really important environment in your organization where you're appreciating everyone, and you should be a very good leader where you're communicating very well. When you're giving any brief, when you're giving any information about any of the client to your employees, be a very good communicator and take the ownership of that.
Right.
These are three really important things that give value. Please definitely be very good in communication with all your employees. And third and most important thing is you need to own everything happening around. I mean, in front of client also, even if anything has gone wrong, even if your employee has maybe committed any mistake, take, like, say, like, I'm a leader of this team, this is my mistake.
You need to own that up.
Yeah, own up that. You will earn heavy respect of your employee, and that employee will never leave you, would want to be there for you. So I think this is very important. These three things
That
are
was
very
profound. That was profound, Sheetal. And the way you said you should have a mix of both young employees and experienced employees,
Yeah.
they actually make a very good mixed bag. So thank you for that, Sheetal. And now we would want to call Dr. Madhu. Dr. Madhu, the chat is blowing up. People are saying that, oh my God, we are getting so many insights from Dr. Madhu. Leena Dudeja says, I appreciate the thought of zeal of learning as said by Dr. Madhu. Sangeeta Mishra says, Madhu ma'am, what motivates you to take risk and move forward? Learning new things after 4 decades is really amazing and help you to keep growing. So these are amazing, comments that are coming from the audience. And now, continuing to the momentum that, Sheetal was talking about, my next question to you is that we have spoken about business habits, we have spoken about lifestyle habits, we've also spoken about the business mindset habits. Now I would want to talk about what are some of those habits by which one can develop great team members and develop, suppliers, so that ultimately we have a very collaborative ecosystem, because we are not in a competitive space, but we are looking at a more collaborative atmosphere like the one we are doing right now. This chat is also a very collaborative setup that we have created. So how do we bring that collaboration in workplace, if you could talk about that?
Yeah, so what I feel is that if you have a business idea and if you're starting your journey and you need to build a small team, consider that you have a wedding in your house. If you have a wedding in a house, you actually have all your relatives, which is your team and community for you. If you relate with them, then you actually give and delegate some of the responsibilities to each one of them.
Yes.
And they are responsible to do. So they are actually, if you see at workplace, should consider them as your business associates. They are not team members or they are not employees. I think that word employee somehow I don't like. And, I personally feel it's more like associate. We also use that word associate too much.
Partners
Even with students,
associates.
even in faculties, we don't call them students. We call them as associates, because we also learn from them, as you rightly said. And as she also was mentioning, Kital, earlier, that, you learn from even the young generation and you gain. So it's very important to be very collaborative. I think 1 and 1 is 11. It's not 2. So that's something that we need to also imbibe in our own selves, which is very important. When we are actually relating and getting in terms of a vendor relationship or a supplier relationship, it is very important. In my 4 decades of journey, I think I have learned maximum from them. And if I am actually part of if I talk about design, you talk about carpets, you talk about paints, you talk about wall covering, furniture, etc. So I have actually visited their factories and I have actually gone through that whole process of learning and establishing the whole life cycle of a project. So it's of the product. So it's important similarly that you give responsibilities, you delegate. It's very important that you delegate your team and believe in them. Believe in yourself. You need to be the driver, but believe in them. It's like, once you have given them the directions, let them take that call. Do not tell them how to achieve. Get their targets, understand, discuss with them. What we used to do when we were doing projects, and I think this I can very much relate in a workspace from my project management background that I had for so many years, that you set in morning we used to meet And it was not just me, it was me, my assistants, as well as all the team members and contractors. Say a painter, a polisher, a carpenter, and everything. We used to give them targets and we used to set them and tell them, okay, we have tea together, cup of tea, we set everything. Then at 4 o'clock again, we meet. Okay, what have we achieved? Have we achieved? Are we lagging back? Any support required? That actually also helps the business in a way, because everybody is committed that I might want to, in that 4 o'clock meeting, outshine somebody else. So it's also self-competitive habits that build in your own self and a team spirit. And as the earlier members also said, patting on the back, appreciating them, lifting them up when they fall and say, okay, I am there. I used to have situations in my hotels where the operations team is actually is literally saying, please close the work and we have targets to open tomorrow. So I used to tell my assistant, go do it the right way. Don't, I am there for you if there's somebody who comes. So I think that belief of your team that there is someone, and as you rightly said, that there is someone who will take care of us, is something very important. And here I would like to actually also just share a note that I kept for today. This is a Forbes study that said the organization doesn't achieve results through efficiencies, alignment, or capabilities.
Right.
It succeeds because its participation in a broader network of teams and partners, internal and external, allows faster response in these changing conditions. So I think it's so important, and it sums up so well that how collaboration and everything is very important.
That is so powerful. That's so wonderful. So, Dr. Madhu, let me call the other two panelists now, and we are going to begin the Q&A part. A lot of questions, came in the first part of the segment. So let me start with the first question, which is actually, which has been directed to Dr. Madhu itself. I'll talk about that. So there is a question that says, speaking about starting your entrepreneurial journey from your workplace as if you own the company, managing things becomes very difficult if we want to work on something that is completely in a different domain from our 9 to 5. So if there is somebody who is creating a business in a different domain, then she's asking that how can we own our own company at that time, because our business is very different from the company business. If you could talk about that.
It is a mindset that I mentioned. I didn't mention that, see, the company might be a manufacturing company and you are getting into a trading business or maybe in a food business. But the habits, that means your mindset is such that you own that space. So if you're responsible for something in that domain, in that space, that is like running your own business in that domain. That's what I meant. And when you will develop these habits in you, when you go, like I'll give you a very simple example. I meet so many owners who have many hotels. When I am entering that, even for a meeting, and I'm looking around and everything, suddenly I have points, and I have some points which I discuss with the owner. Even if I don't get that job, I tell him, sir, please take care of that. I call the housekeeper and say, maybe that needs a little bit of attention, so the cushions are not in the right place. So I'm just saying that it's not my hotel. I'm not getting the business right away. It is a potential client that I'm looking at, but my mindset that this is my space will help me when I start my own in whichever direction. It's just to build in these mindset to think that way. It's not to go into detail of how that company is running, what is the financial liability. We're not talking about that. We are talking about totally how you approach and how you set your mindset.
That's very profound and very powerful.
Absolutely. I would like to add here, being an employee and then jumping into this new zone, it was something all about the habits and the mindset that actually inspired me, because those are two different worlds. And the only thing, like Dr. Madhu already mentioned, that you take that ownership, you take 100% responsibility, that this is going to be you who's going to take care of it. In our workplace, where you are an employee, you are told to do a certain things and expected that you are given the goals and you have to meet them.
Yes.
But when it comes to starting your entrepreneurial journey, it's like you are your own boss. You are also an employee. You have to do it all on your own. It's about taking that 100% responsibility.
Lovely.
So this thing where you start owning everything like it's your own and focus on what is in your control, it gets easier to have that, desired outcome, and with baby steps, and of course, like with the goals and clarity, you will get there. Success is not something, achieved overnight, but that lifelong journey where you work for it, learn, unlearn, relearn, so it keeps on going.
Right, as they say that safar khoobsurat hai manzil se bhi. So we should enjoy the safar. We should
Absolutely,
definitely enjoy the
absolutely.
journey, because that journey, yeah, it ultimately make the destination most beautiful.
Yeah,
Lovely.
and also there's a poem, in school which I actually relate a lot to my own self, and I think another question that was also a point, how what keeps you motivating, and I think that's what keeps me motivating is the charge of the light brigade. It's not to reason why, it's but to do and die. So it's that whatever you want to do, just go, keep doing, keep doing, keep doing, and I'm sure things will fall in place. Somewhere they will not fall in place, but I think mostly they fall in place.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. And sometimes, when things don't fall into place, you have to simply surrender.
Yeah.
And that's where, that things are working out. But it's like a lesson or a blessing. So either celebrate your blessing, ask for that discipline and wisdom to go ahead with that. And then if it's not, learn from that
Yeah.
lesson,
Wonderful.
what it was taught, and then you can definitely go ahead and keep you motivated in your journey.
I love the way, everybody is coming to a common point. Surrender, ownership. Sheetal spoke about ownership. Own it from your team. Dr. Madhu spoke about ownership. And then basically Pooja is talking about taking 100% responsibility. I'm loving the way you all are connecting it together. So I would bring the next question, which is there by Anandita. Anandita says, what is your view about multitasking? We often have to do it, but does this spoil our concentration? Any one of you, if you would want to take it.
So
Can I go for it?
Yes, I can take it up.
Just
Okay, let's ask CA Krishna to take it. She hasn't spoken from a long time. Yes.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. So, see, Anandita, as I spoke about the time management practice, multitasking is something which has been instilled in us by the society or by our surrounding. Being a woman, we are told that this is the bare minimum thing which we have to do, right? Or we have to manage the house, we have to manage the family, we have to manage the kids, we have to manage the profession also, career also. So we in this journey, maybe by seeing our parents, by seeing our mother, grandmother, or our sister, we think that this is something which meant to do, and we have to do like that only. We are women, we have to do like that. But definitely, as a human being, if you talk about the focus, if you talk about the productivity, yes, we are good at multitasking, but is it adding to the productivity? Was first question. So the first answer to that is straight away no. Straight away no. Although we all are doing that, but when you multitask, your brain is doing 4 different things in 4 different areas, which is not giving your productivity in one particular job. Right? You are cooking the food also, you are making your child do the homework also, you are attending the call also. So you think that you are over using your brain, and that is losing your energy. And that's the reason after a period of 4 hours, 5 hours, we women feel so drained out. And after coming home, we don't have that energy. But if you compare the male counterpart of your family, they still will have that energy. And when you see any of the males taking calls or doing their work, they will be very focused. For us,
Singular processing.
If you want productivity, one task at a time, set definite goals, set your timing, set your daily schedule in such a way that everything is taken care of. I am not saying that you don't cook food. I'm not saying that you don't take care of your children or don't focus on your career. But have a dedicated time allocated for each of the things. Do not try to do everything together, because in that process your growth gets delayed, your productivity gets delayed. What you could have achieved in 6 months, it will take maybe 2 years or 3 years.
Lovely, lovely. So
So
let's hear from
yes.
Sheetal.
Yes.
Sheetal wanted to add something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so multitasking usually, it's been mistook that you're supposed to do all the tasks together. Multitasking
Yes.
means you're doing multiple things but on different times. And as say Krishna was
Krishna.
saying that it happens that our male counterparts, they are focused on. See, definitely women are made for multitasking, but we are also very good in time management.
Mm.
Multitasking is always about managing time, because we know now this is my work time, this is the time when I'll give it completely to my work, then to my child, then as a wife, then as a daughter-in-law, then as a daughter. We divide our day so beautifully that makes us multitasker. But do we do all those things together at the same time? No, we don't do that. We divide it. So we are multitasker because we manage our time. We are very best in time management. So that's how
Lovely,
you have to do this actually. Multitasking, or this term has been really misunderstood that you're supposed to do everything together. No, that's really not required.
lovely.
Humanly not possible.
Thank you for that. Now I have my next question, which I would want
True, true.
Pooja or Dr. Madhu to answer. Yes. So the next question that's coming on the screen is, how do we manage our energies in that case? So Dr. Madhu had been speaking about, while you are in a job and you are also trying to focus on your business. So in that direction, Ilu Anandi has asked us, how do we manage our energies, when we are doing a full-time job and at the same time we are building our business and we are working on our passion. So how do we work in this scenario, if any one of you could answer?
See, in my opinion, when we are looking at setting up our own business while we are working, we have to assign some time for that passion and that business apart from our work time. We have to do justice to our workspace as well, which will be probably today, if we see, it's almost Monday to Friday, and Saturday, Sunday are off. So Sunday, if you keep for yourself for rejuvenation, for whatever you want to do, but at a stretch in our time, and I'm telling you about so many years, in 4 decades, we were like almost like a 7 day, 24/7 kind of a people, because we went through that scenario where there was no 5 days, there were no 6 days, sometimes in projects even 7 days. Used to come, go there, go there, go there, but what I'm trying to say, today, we are in a much better place. We have many opportunities. So it is your energy. And when you are young, I think that's the time that you have energy and you can put your targets, you put and you divide your time zones, as the other panelists also mentioned. So if 9 to 5 is your work scenario, you rest till 6, and then if you want to spend 1 more hour in the evening after you've done whatever you are supposed to do, and then just put together. So planning, and I think time management, and this is again, I'll again go back to project management and some of the points that the other panelists have also said. Set a bigger target. Okay, say today you are in 2023 June, so by 1st of January 2024, I want to launch and I want to. So you have 5-6 months of time. Now you have to work backwards and put your milestones, put timelines to those milestones, and then are they achievable or not? And then I think do a SWOT for yourself when you are doing. But that time management is something which is so important. And I've also learned that planning is crux of success. If you don't plan well, then I think you're not. And I'll give you a very simple example. One of the hotels we were renovating, we had only 3 months and we had 90 days to turn around 40 rooms, and because we had a booking. But we planned for 1 month and we made it happen. So it's, I think, it took us 1 month to plan that whole exercise. Okay,
Sharpening that axe in advance.
yeah. So I think in advance. Have contingencies in place, and then you have to jump. That jump, you have to jump in water if you want to swim. You cannot
Lovely.
just float in the air and swim. No? You have to jump. So I think you have to just see the right time when you want to jump.
Beautiful.
And I think
Absolutely. And
that will vary for everyone. I won't say there's a mantra. It's not a cookie cutter, approach that you can have to that.
Lovely. Yes, Pooja, you wanted to add something? I'll bring you on the panel. Yes.
Yeah, that's something very profound that Dr. Madhu said, that you have to set a goal and then work towards it. And when you have that clarity, you know where you want to go, you will automatically be driven with that passion, enthusiasm, and everything will fall into place because you want to do it. You know, people mostly lie to themselves. They just say that I want to do this, I want to do that, but there is no outcome, or they are not doing it because deep down somewhere they probably don't want to do it.
Yes.
If you really want to do something, you would already be doing it, right? And if you don't, you will come up with excuses.
Right. We run away from
So,
them. Yes.
yeah, and that is why you keep procrastinating or other things, multiple that add up in your queue that you actually don't want to do it because you don't have that clear intention that why you want to do it.
Lovely.
So once you set that goal, you'll probably find the ways to work it out for you.
Wonderful.
And then at the same time, the energy would also come into picture because that is what you really want. So it will just start coming because you want to do it. That is your passion. That is something that is driving
That's
you.
not
So
your
it's
job.
like,
That's not a second job that you're doing. So that's some.
that's not a second job. So that's like your passion and you really, really like it. So if you want to do it and manage your energies, it's like you have to put in that extra mile and go beyond what the other 9 to 6 people are doing.
Lovely.
Like from my experience, I always keep 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening to work on my passion projects, so that working into 9 to 5 also, I am working on my passion. And what drives me is that because I want to do this. Otherwise, I'll be just giving excuses or I won't find time to do it.
Lovely. Lovely. So that's another question that has come from Suganya. This is the last question. Working from home drains more energy than working from office. If any one of you could answer this.
I agree totally, and I'm a person, I don't like working from home. I'll be very frank with you. I feel it is something where you actually drain yourself much more because there is no time limit. When you are at home, you have to start. And I have friends of mine who have daughter-in-laws, and they are locked from morning till evening in their rooms, staying in the same house, and they don't even have lunch and dinner with them. So, can you imagine you are staying with them, you are there, and this work from home scenario, and if you left the house, and I think in the morning to get ready and to be in that attire and be at your workplace is another big zeal that you get, and you are motivated to do much more. At home in pajamas, you will sit on the bed, you'll have your laptop and you
Yeah.
start working, and and you become robots. We are becoming robots. And I think time has come where we have to realize that. And there's a very important balance that we need to. A balance of work and stress and everything is there. But I think we have to drive that. And it's very important to be vocal about it, I would say.
Lovely.
People don't talk enough, and you don't have to be rough, or you don't have to be loud, but the communication that I am stressed and I am not able to do that, because that is affecting even your performance by the end of the day. It will. You don't realize it.
Wonderful. So now I just want to reframe this question. What if there is not an option to work from office and the person has to work from home? So how do we ensure that we can actually get the productivity right? If any one of you could answer that. Yes.
Make a
You
home
can always,
office.
switch co-working spaces.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You were saying, Pooja, something?
If we do not have option, then
Yeah, when in this hybrid of options, it is like more you can always go to some co-working spaces, because now people have realized that they have that home work from office. With the hybrid model coming in, you can definitely go to cafes which are work friendly, and there are so many cafes that are
Work cafes.
coming up with this
Yeah.
concept now. Yep, these co-working
Yeah.
spaces where you can just go dress up like Dr. Madhu said. There's a different energy in dressing up. It puts you in that mood. It sets the tone that you have to be presentable, be in that energy where you are going to be delivering and creating something magical. So
Right.
workspaces and dressing and stepping out, so you're time bound and not just sitting 24 by 7 glued to your laptop.
Right.
Lovely.
That
And
Even
is,
also again it will add on to
And
self-discipline.
yeah, that,
Self-discipline again. It comes back to self-discipline. And if you have no option to even go out to a cafe, or you have to still be at home only, because if that's the scenario that you are in, identify a space which is a workspace within your space at home, and then just go and sit there, and but just be disciplined. It's very important to have. You can't just work from 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 in the evening, and then
having
also
and
it's
I
not.
guess you can also add some, recreational thing in your schedule if
Yeah,
you're continuously working from home. See,
yeah.
you always spend, if you're going in office, you always spend lots of time in traveling. Like I'm from
Mm,
yeah,
Mumbai, so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
one thing.
yeah,
So that time use for something recreational.
Something else. Yeah.
Yeah, because it will definitely increase your own productivity if you're continuously at home. But as Dr. Madhu said, discipline, but also definitely add something in it
Some.
which you're doing just for yourself and you're feeling more relaxed, like we have in offices. Like,
Yeah,
HR
yeah,
work so
yeah.
hard to create that entire recreational thing.
yeah.
We should do
Like
it
those
at home.
mini chai breaks that you have
yes,
in office,
Yes,
yes,
something for
yes,
your recreation. You can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it when you're not
and
working from office.
yeah.
That's something
I mean, when
wonderful.
I was working from home, I used to take my tea breaks. I used to take my reading, my child.
yes,
I used to do that.
yes, Krishna wanted to say something. Krishna, your voice is not clear, darling.
I think she's having some technology.
Yes.
so is it
Yeah.
clear? Is it
Okay,
better?
just the last part, there is a
Is
question
it
that has
better now?
come. Could you please share the best source of learning in entrepreneurship journey? Anything, any one
I
of
would
you.
I would say experiences.
Of
I would say learn from
absolutely,
experiences. From
absolutely.
that,
There's no,
there are so many experiences of successful business people, and
Yeah.
I think that's where, if you go through their journey and just see from where they started and what were their challenges. So read these autobiographies, of them, which are available. I think they will motivate a lot. Even I read a lot, and sometimes when I am stuck somewhere, I suddenly find the solution in that book as well. Sometimes
Right. And I
yeah,
would also want to add it in that learn from their challenges, learn from their mistakes also.
mistakes, yes.
And their
yeah,
mistakes seriously teaches you a lot, that what exactly you should not do. Because that is why they're sharing their mistakes, because they want, through these books or through a lot of videos which are available for having a successful entrepreneurial journey, that don't commit certain things, because I did it, you don't do it. So yeah, I mean,
yeah.
lovely books are available actually.
And one last point is be a lifelong learner, because
Mm,
there's always so much to
mm,
learn. There's no one definite answer for this, that what is the best source. It's like you have to find your own source, what works for you, learn that, experiment, and have that experience, because nothing can substitute that own experience where you take those risks and learn from them. So be that learner, learn from your mistakes, celebrate, and you will find your why and clarity, what works for you.
Awesome, awesome. So, Dr. C. Krishna has joined us. C. Krishna, would you want to give us a final insight from your side?
Um,
Yes.
Final insight on work from, are you able to hear
Yes,
me?
please. You,
Yeah.
yes, we
yes.
can.
So,
Please go ahead.
okay. So, the best source for learning in the journey, I would say, is you evolve in the process. And only one bonus tip which I would like to share is do not do everything yourself.
Mhm.
I understand initially it is very difficult to hire more people. Have a mindset of delegating after a year or two at least, once you scale up, and do not do everything yourself. Focus on the area which you are good at, and hire people for different domains and bring your business to
Lovely.
the next level.
Wonderful.
And I think
Wonderful.
Dr. Madhu, Pooja, and Sheetal have shared amazing insights about working from home. But yes, I would like to just add that, in case you're not able to go out, which I know many of women reach out to me that we can't go out for different reasons. So in that case, have a dedicated space. if you don't have space, you have a bed to sleep, उस बेड पे डेडिकेट वॉल पे एक you just make it a office or एक wall painting बनाइए, make a painting that this is my work timing, and set clear boundaries, and set
Wonderful.
clear boundaries and be vocal about it. Like you said, be vocal ki, like any whatever time, like the time which works for me, I'll just share is morning 9 to 3 is my highest productive timing. I am very vocal. During that period, I will not be available. After that, whatever you say, I'm there for the family, for the kids, for everyone. And I have set that boundary according to my what suits best for my family as well, right?
Right.
So have a clear boundary, have a dedicated work, dedicated clean desk, clean workspace where you feel very happy and energetic to work every morning.
Lovely. So, see, Krishna, we are losing you. I'll just take on from here. Thank you for those insights. I'll just reiterate what what CA Krishna just mentioned. She was speaking about a dedicated workspace, having those clear boundaries that you are not available from this time to this time. So thank you so much, CA Krishna, for your insights and talking about that fact that, you should not do everything on your own. Just do what you are good at and delegate everything else. Thank you for bringing those points. So now this brings us to the last part of the talk, and we generally end our talks by getting a one-liner from our panelists. So we would want to know that your favorite one-liner that you would want to talk about. So let's begin with Sheetal.
So in one liner I'll say, आदत को इबादत बना लो, कामयाबी तुम्हारी है. If you start inculcating those good business habits as you worship God, you will be definitely successful.
Wow, आदत को इबादत बना लो. That's so wonderful. Yes. Now let's move to CA Krishna.
Like for me, it would be live life simpler with daily steps.
Live life simple with daily steps. Wonderful. That's very good and very simple to apply. Okay. Dr. Madhu.
I think the biggest asset that anybody can have is build relationships.
Wow. Biggest asset is your relationships. Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, Pooja. The last 2 cents from you.
So I would say that take control of your time and your routine to have the discipline and freedom that you're looking for in this journey.
Take control of your time and routine. आपने तो पूरे talk को ही summarize कर दिया आज. That's so wonderful. Thank you so much. And let's not forget the winners, the top 3 winners who have participated throughout in this chat. So the first winner that we have is Sangeeta Mishra. Can we all congratulate for Sangeeta Mishra? Let's give her a huge round of applause. Fantastic, Sangeeta. You have been throughout, and we will send you a special prize. The second winner that we have is Suganya Jayapalan, who has joined us from UAE. Can we really congratulate Suganya? Awesome. And the third winner that we have is Ilu Anandi, who has joined us from Budapest, Hungary. Can we really congratulate Ilu? So guys, please make sure that you write to me on LinkedIn, and I'm going to be sending you your special prize. And to wind this up, I'm going to say, own your greatness and soar high, because the world needs that special you. Please take good care of yourself. We will see you next week with another set of panelists. The topic for next week is the ultimate formula for business development. So do not miss the next week panel discussion. We are going to bring some more insights for you. Till then, take care, and I'm sending you loads and loads of love to all of you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye all. And